Okay, good morning guys. Yeah, so this is totally unscripted and I've tried to create a video that will hopefully just bring everyone up to date to our current position with Unity. The main reason behind this is just to make sure that all the investors who have invested thus far into it are aware of where we are and the challenges that we have ahead of us. Not too big challenges, but it's stuff we need to get through before we actually launch. So what I'm going to do is I am going to install Unity so that you guys can see how it's installed and take you through that process. And then on top of that, I've set up an example of two other phones which I'll record through the phone that I'm actually holding right now, and I've made two additional users on Unity and I've registered the two phones. So what I want to do is I'm just going to go through to my photos here, or actually not photos, let me just go through to camera, and I'm just going to show you what I've done here. So I've basically set up two phones. I know it's quite rudimentary, but it's probably the best way that I can actually show you guys. One is Richard Branson and the other one is John Doe. So both of these devices actually have Unity installed on them, and I want to show you how we can actually transfer information from one phone to another and the whole process behind that. So you can actually see that it's working and you get an idea of the process. So let me just exit this. Alright, so first of all what we need to do is actually install Unity. And currently it's not in the Play Store obviously because it's still going through beta testing, but we have a shared folder where all the documentation and everything around Unity actually sits, and I'm just going to install the APK so you can have a look at that. Alright, so it's going to take you through the installation process. It's going to ask you a couple permissions that need to be granted in order for it to access certain features of your phone. And as far as I'm aware, I think there was an update that was done last night, so let's just see if that update installs. Yeah guys, and it's just this is the best way I can actually just show you guys that it's working. The first version we had that was on the phones was just a wireframe version. It was black and white. It didn't look pretty at all. It had no interface, and it was really just there to work out the flow. Subsequently to that, we've spent some money and had the front end designed with colors and so forth and the logo installed to create a executable package that goes onto your phones, and that's basically pretty much the same thing we'll put on the App Store, barring any slight changes that we make during the beta testing process. Alright, so open the Unity up and it's going to launch. It's got a nice little welcome screen there. Oh, okay, there we go. Updating Unity, so that just went and grabbed the update. So it's just installing that update on top of it, and it's going to go through it. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is, this app has still got quite a few bugs in it. I'm just going to accept the terms and conditions so we can move forward. And this is the whole process that we need to go through. Like any other software available on the market, before you commercialize it or launch it to the public, you need to make sure that all your bugs are taken care of. So the functionality is what I want to show you today, and show you that it's actually doing, what I envisioned it to do and what we planned it to do, and it's actually functioning. It's just very, very buggy at the moment, and there's a whole beta testing process which we put together for the last 2 or 3 months locally, and it just hasn't been successful. The feedback was really, really bad. And it's not on the level that I want. So I found a company in the States that actually does this, and this is their primary function as a service. They take apps and they distribute it amongst 30 or 40 different users. These guys have technical expertise as well as experience in this, and they drill the app up and down on different platforms, on different phones. They use it in different scenarios, and they run that for about 3 months. And then after 3 months they will give us a report back, and then based upon that report we will then make the adjustments in the code and any changes that they feel that the user side and user experience should actually be made. So it's valuable, and it comes from a professional. You get a full auditable report back from them on it. Here in South Africa, I just managed to try and get a couple of friends together and that, and it just didn't work out. The guys are too biased or not biased, and I really want it from a total neutral point of view. And also, I think it's important to have people who are testing it be experienced in it, so that we can get the best feedback, so I can apply that to the developer. The guys also have a really good experience in code, so if there's any bugs or anything, they'll dig into it and actually tell us how to do it. So I think it's quite valuable. But anyway, sorry to get stopped, paused on that. I just wanted to update you, and I'll send an email with a bit more information. Anyway, here we go. So get started. It's going to ask you for a couple permissions to be granted so that it can actually function as an app, and this is usual for most apps. So at the bottom right hand corner, or just above the login to the right, there's a sign up now, which I used to register Richard Branson onto the system as well as John Doe, and I used two separate other numbers, and I just made up the information just so that I can show you the user and functionality of it. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and just log in. You only have to log in once you've created your account, and as you can see, those aren't lining up right there. There's a bug. So these are the things we need to get sorted out. Yeah, so there it says welcome in at the bottom, and all of a sudden my profile comes up. I've been on the system before, so there's going to be a little bit of stuff here that looks like it's been done already, but that's just part of the whole process. Yeah, and look, another bug here, the added contacts, recent, it's not showing any of the profiles. If I go to contacts, it'll show all the guys. So yeah, and also my notifications on this phone doesn't work, and that's a bug on this phone, and this is the whole process. They need to make it cross-platform compatible, and this is what the guys will give us feedback on, and the stuff we need to adjust. Alright, so but on the other phones the notifications work, so it's just one of those things, and we'll work it out, but we need to get the pros in to do that. Alright, so there's all my contacts that I currently have. If I go down to the bottom here, it'll show me my messaging and the messages that I've actually sent to people, and then if I click at the bottom there, I get my profile. So basically this is your primary profile page as an end user, and it's got a couple things at the top there on the right. So you've got a picture you can put up there, you've got requests, and if you hit requests, it'll take you through and tell you who's requested your information, my primary contact list, and any of them that I've actually deleted as well. Okay, contacts, if I click there, it'll show me my contacts, and then deleted as well, it'll just show me the one that I've deleted. So under this profile, you can also go through and edit it and create an image and change your status, settings. This is a couple settings in here which you can't actually adjust right now. I can't push this up and down, and it's not clear. So this needs to either expand fully or be able to be scrollable. So there's a couple options where you can allow all calls coming in. So while you're on Unity, you can allow them to come in, or you can just allow registered users on Unity to contact you, and then it'll ignore all the other calls. And then I'd imagine you end up selecting that after you're kind of comfortable that everyone that you know is on Unity, and you're happy, and it's a couple months down the line, and you activate that, and you won't be receiving any calls from any call centers or anything like that. Alright, let's just go back one more, and then you can set up your profiles here. I've got my Corbiti profile, and I've got my Luxem profile. That's a different business I'm involved in. So at the end of the day, this is how it works. If I want to share my information with somebody who also has Unity, I select this little icon here and I go share. And then it's going to ask me which profile I want to share. Do I want to share Corbetio or do I want to share Luxon? If I select Luxon and I go share, it generates a unique QR code which is encrypted, which that person can then scan. And then it sends the request to the database as well as the user to accept that request. And I mean, really, at the moment, version 1 is just going to be about telephone numbers and dialing. So if I go to contacts and I select Jade, I can just say, well, I can either message her, I can take her profile and share it with somebody else, or I can call her, which I'm going to do now. Okay, so I'll just cancel that. All right, and just go back to my profile. Rather contacts. Okay, all right, and as you can see, Unity just restarted when I made a call. So, you know, and if anyone's, it's, I don't want you guys panicking or getting worried. The whole beta testing normally takes just as long or maybe half as long as the beta testing or the building of the official app. So it's no surprise if you're going to do research in that the beta testing, it takes time and you need to bug all the stuff out. So, and yeah, I apologize if I'm all over the place, but this is an unscripted video, so just bear with me. All right, so I'm just going to zoom out of here. Okay, well, not zoom out of it. I'm going to actually just close this and go into my camera. All right, so I'm just going to grab this chair and move it in here. It's quite, I hope this kind of works. Maybe I should just stand up a bit here. All right, so both of these phones, Richard Branson and John Doe, have Unity installed. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up Unity on both of them so that you guys can actually see this. So now, as you can see, under the contacts, I've done some testing on it already, and anything that's red means that I cannot connect with that person. It's somebody that I actually deleted. So if I click on Richard, it's going to tell me you're no longer connected with Richard. And subsequently, if I connect on Ian, on Richard Branson's phone, it's going to say you're no longer connected. I can either delete forever, which means that I need to, it'll actually clear that out the history totally, or I can reconnect. And the reason we built this in was just in case by mistake you delete a contact and you want to reconnect with them. And we've also allowed 3 options, so you can re-establish that connection 3 times. After that, it'll be then deemed as cyberbullying or harassment, and you would have to physically connect with the person and exchange information. All right, but each person has that available. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the original screen, and let's do this. Okay, so this is Richard Branson's phone. All right, and this is John Doe. Now Richard ends up meeting John at a restaurant. They don't have each other's numbers, although they're there and they're unavailable. That's just a history log of what's happened in the past when I did the testing, but originally it would never be there. So I click on, let me just go back here to camera. Right, so I click, let me just go back there. I just click on this button and I say, I want to share Richard's information. I'm Richard. And then I click on this one, on John Doe's, and I say, well, I want to scan Richard's number. Okay, this is not going the right way. Let me go share. Now what it's done is it's actually generated a QR code on Richard's phone, and it's launched the camera system on John Doe, and they're in a restaurant. And they go along, and he goes and he just scans it like that, and all of a sudden, boom, it says creating link, and there's a bunch of notifications going off here. The one on John Doe says a link has successfully been created with Richard Branson. Alright, and I go okay. And I go back here, and this is also another bug. I can actually click on the notification, and it's going to say a new connection was made with John Doe. So that's when two people are connecting for the first time. Alright, so I'm just going to go back out there. As you can see, both of these are red. John's gone blue, and with Richard, I know there's a bug in here somewhere. I think I need to close Unity and relaunch it. Sometimes it doesn't update the contacts immediately and you have to restart it. So now if I go to contacts, oh no, I launched the wrong thing. I touched it with my thumb at the bottom. Okay, so now contacts, now he's no longer red and John Doe is no longer red. So now these two people can, why is this keep timing out? Okay, so now these two people can actually talk to each other and everything's great. They can have a chat and send messages to each other, and John Doe and Richard Branson met for the first time and they received the information and everything's cool. Then what happens is John starts giving Richard problems. It's phoning him every 2 days, trying to ask him for money, as I normally do with most people, and it's no, he doesn't have the time to deal with it. So Richard goes to his contacts and he clicks on John, and he goes, well, you know what, I'm tired of this guy, let me go and delete him. And it's confirming, are you sure? And you go, yes. And it says removing contact. Now he's gone red, which means I can't catch. Well, Branson will not be able to chat to him anymore. But what it does is it removes Branson's information as well. And like I said, on this phone, I'm going to have to just relaunch Unity, and it's giving me a contact. And what it's done is it said Richard removed you. Richard has removed you from their contact list. You can send a request and try and relink with Richard. Okay, so that's just a notification saying it's been removed. So what? So if I go to contacts, oh, now Richard's number is red. I can't contact him anymore. It's there, it's got a bit of history in it so that I know, but anyone who's red is no longer contactable. And that's basically how it works. You've never seen a person's number, you can't connect to it. You've still got a little bit of a connection there with the person, but at the end of the day you cannot connect with them. So unless you send an internal request. Now that's that option. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is when there's third-party sharing. So say if John Doe, or rather this, say Richard goes to a meeting. Oh no, wait, I need to still reconnect with Richard. So I'm going to re-establish my connection with Richard first, and that's me, because we need to add a third person into this. And I'm going to go share. And I'm just going to exit out of video here and just go back to Unity, which should be on the home page because that's where it belongs. So let me just do that. Add to home, and I'm just going to bring it down to the bottom here because that's going to be my primary contacts. I click here and I'm going to go and select scan. I'm going to go scan, and I'm with Richard now. We've connected. I could actually just send a new request if I wanted, but I just wanted to show you that the scanning thing. So as you can see, okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to just share my BT profile with him because we're in business together. The link has been successfully created with Richard. If I go back and I click on contacts, there's Richard, but he's still read it out. And I think what I need to do is just close Unity, as it's still buggy. This is the process we need to get through. I'm just going to close a couple of other things here and just relaunch Unity. Let's just see that contact comes up. Right, so for the contacts. Okay, so now Richard is no longer red, and I'm able to connect with him and call him and send him messages. Let me just go to camera here so you can see on Richard's. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just close Unity as well and restart it. This is one major bug that we have, as mentioned before. And if I go to contacts, you'll see that Ian's no longer red anymore. So we need to connect John to Richard. So what we're going to do is just get all these reds out here and just re-establish a new connection. Alright, and the nice thing about this is if I want to reconnect with you, I can just type in a quick message and just say sorry for bugging you. Send the request. So that request is going to go through, and if I click on notifications here, it's going to say, well, Richard sent a request, do I accept it? So I just say yes. Okay, are you sure? Yes. And now what it's done is it's reconnected the two people. As you can see, Richard's is no longer blurred out. And I'm just going to relaunch Unity here, and if I go into contacts, you'll see there's no more red blurred out contacts, so that's perfect. So this is what I wanted to show you. Richard goes and meets John at a meeting, and Richard says, John, I've got this guy, his name's Ian, he's in my contacts, he can help you sort out some stuff, but I'm not there. I can't represent myself. And the problem with most of these things is guys will go along and they will share other people's information without their permission, without any context. And then when that person calls you, first of all, you don't have their number because you don't know who they are. So it comes through as an unknown call. So you could possibly miss it. Or you see the number and you're just like, well, I don't want to answer this. And the guy's trying to get a hold of you for business. So what this does is it prevents anyone from sharing your information without you being around, without your permission, number one. And secondly, when the exchange happens, both people are in a position of having each other's details instantly. So whenever somebody else shares your information and you're not around, the minute you accept that request, you will automatically get their information immediately. So let's just see how this goes. Alright, I'm going to zoom down here and say, well, this is Richard, and Richard wants to share Ian's information. So he goes here and he clicks share. Alright, and he creates a QR code for my profile. And this is John Doe, and he wants to scan my information. Creates a securing connection to the server. It clicks, and now it says link request still pending. A link request has been sent to Ian Black and is still pending, which means yes, Richard has shared my information on my behalf while I wasn't there with John Doe. But until I've approved it, he will not be able to make contact with me. So it's pending. Since I'm the recipient and the owner of this telephone number, I should be allowed who gets it and who doesn't. So I'm going to zoom back out. I'm just going to launch Unity, and I just want to see the request here. Loading notifications. I'm not getting any notifications yet, but I should have received a notification. I just don't know why this isn't working. It worked earlier. don't know why this isn't working. This is okay, so let's just do it the other way around. I'm just going to go ahead quickly and delete, and this is another bug obviously on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and delete, just want to make sure I do this in the correct sequence, as this is not scripted. I'm going to delete, who am I connected with? I am connected with, sorry guys, just trying to make sure I get this right for you. Okay, so I'm connected with Richard, I'm not connected with John. Alright, so I want to okay, alright. I'm just trying to try and make sure I do this the correct way. So I've got Richard's number. Okay, alright, so what I'm going to do is just go to John's phone. Okay, let me just go here. Alright, sorry guys, that was just a little bit complicated. I don't want to restart this video. I'm going to go there and I'm going to delete Richard's number. And then, sorry, it's removing the link, that's fine. And Richard, I've got Richard, and you no longer have Richard's, that's fine. So now I need to quickly just connect with John Doe. So I'm replacing Richard's side. I'm going to click scan here. I'm going to go scan, and I am going to then scan his number. Alright. Link has been created with John Doe. Zoom back out. There's another notification. This is working pretty nicely on this phone. Interesting. Different phones work differently. And I can go here, and there's Ian. It's going to come up as red, but you know, maybe he deleted me, which is correct. Maybe he deleted Richard. Doesn't want anything to do with Richard. So now, what I'm going to do is this. I am going to exit out of here, and I'm going to go to Unity. And I'm going to be replacing Richard. And I meet John Doe, and I say, John, I know this guy Richard Branson, he can help you out. And I select Richard's profile and I share it. And then what I'm going to do is grab John Doe's telephone number and go and scan it. Securing link. Request to Richard Branson to accept. So let me just go into the camera here. On John Doe's number it says a link request has been sent to Richard Branson to accept. Alright, which means, like, as you can see, he's got his number there, but he can't actually dial it at the moment. If I come over here to Richard's phone and he goes, oh, alright, it says there, Richard, someone's trying to connect with you. Connect on it. And then we go to the notifications, and there it is. John sent a link request via Ian. John Doe requests to connect with you. Please accept or reject the request. So that's the important thing. John sent a link request via Ian, which means he connected with me looking for Richard's number. And if I go accept, it says, are you sure? I can even reject it there if I need to, and I go yes. And what it's going to do is add and remove. There we go. So now John's no longer red and they can talk to each other. And if I go to Richard on this side, let me just update here. Oh, there we go, the update works. So they can now talk to each other. So instantly they both got each other's numbers. Yeah, so that's basically it in a nutshell. You know, I'm very sorry that you guys had to sit through 30 minutes of this, but really this was the only way I could actually show you where we are and what we're sitting with. The next stage for us is to go and find a little bit more money to get this beta testing done. I tried it in the last 2.5-3 months here locally, and it's just not working. So we need to get a professional company, and I have found somebody in the States who will do it. They're a really good company. They've done quite a few big apps as well. But we're looking at 3 months of testing with a full auditable report back from them, which I can hand back over to the developer, excuse me there. And yeah, so I will send those related costs that we're going to need to kind of find the funds for to all the investors. And if you guys know of anyone else who wants to get involved, you know, maybe we can get some funding from them. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate you guys sitting through this lengthy video. And I'll chat to you soon, and I'll send a nice email with a link to this video. All right, I'll chat to you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.